Federal Bureau of Investigation FBI Director Christopher Wray silently jetted in Kenya on Sunday evening. And different pundits that have been following this have been trying to drop leaks on what was the high-profile criminal, or rather the high-profile case, why the FBI was dispatched in Kenya. But this development is also coming at a context. Just the recently concluded tour by the President William Ruto in the United States of America, there were some promissory notes that were given. And these promissory notes bordered the event, or rather some investment that are supposed to be made in the country. But remember, there are a host of politicians in this country who are also banned from traveling to the US because of reasons including corruption. So there have been a bit of undertones of panic within different circles, as in this podcast I want us to look at what exactly is the mission. I want us to put it into some context and look at the leads that some pundits have been trying to leak around. The Gulfstream G550 long range is one of the jets that the FBI acquired in its counter-terrorism division for the other missions, including transporting the FBI director and other bureau officials. The jet, as of Sunday, as of Monday morning, was still in Nairobi. The suspicion of the mission, questioning the high-profile criminal that maybe the FBI team were trailing in the country. By the sense of the director means it is more than just trailing a criminal, and it could also be an official duty. So ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is headquarters of the FBI Bureau in East Africa. And so what does this mean? According to part of the research I was actually trying to make is, if FBI is to interdict a criminal or a fugitive in any other country in East Africa, then that person or that fugitive could easily be tricked into coming to the country. Then from here, he can be arrested. But there is a disclaimer. They may not have the jurisdiction to arrest, but the local authorities here can arrest and then hand over to the FBI. All that can be done off the cameras. And most importantly, it will be done off the cameras. So people have been trying to open up discussion, and this discussion is currently going on online, in terms of what exactly is at stake. So before we look at those leads on what Kenyans have been saying, I just tried to search what are the roles of FBI, so that we try to link, if you look at those roles, we try to link and look at those leads. What's the probability that the leads are really giving us real leading points? Part of what they do, they protect the United States from terrorist attacks, protect the United States against foreign intelligence operations, protection against cyber-based attacks and high-technology crimes, public combat corruption at all levels, protect civil rights. So, or even on corruption, there have been cases of substance and drug abuse, the drug barons. They've really been fighting this. There is a cooperation between, I think, FBI and Kenyan investigators on that front. And I think that was done. I remember when the former DCI boss, Kinoti, even was trained by Interpol for some time during Uhuru Kenyatta era before he even left power. So this visit in Kenya is high profile. And I want us to look at some leads. I really want to know what also most of you also think. But let's look at this tweet I just showed that was released 2 days ago. This is Moses Njoroge Nyaoko. Advisory number 14. The FBI angle Christopher Wray, FBI director, is in Nairobi. In terms of jurisdictional mandates, the FBI liaises with DCI through the regional East African Bureau based at the DCI headquarters in Nairobi and headed by Gideon Kimilu. The interesting bit is that the late Adala shared SF, I'm not sure about what is SF, but I think it's some intel or something, on counter-terrorism and money laundering with explosive, actionable criminal intelligence. The FBI, through the Interpol, is very keen to unearth this international criminal cartel. The magnitude of this crime is mind-boggling, and IAS has lost its confidence. So this is just a bit of what he's, this is what part of the lead that that gentleman is coming up. I think he's been so consistent talking about putting out some stuff around this. But I would just want to take a minute and go into Adala's death. And here, there is something I simply don't buy. And if you look at this story, this is the story. Top spies death, secretive ways and strange change in routine. And I have a problem with the way media covered this story. And the coverage of this story is very suspect to me. I would not want to put on the investigator's jacket, but I want to put on the journalist's jacket. And I'm looking at this photo here. Look at this headline photo. That Europe Chomazon is the business that was belonging to the late. So I tend to believe the profile of late Adala, Tom Adala, was on him as assistant what? I want to get it. Was an assistant director at the National Intelligence Service headquarters in Ruaraka. Now, the death of Tom Adala was a son to former Luo Council of Elders and also the first Kenyan ambassador to Russia, is something that should have been covered in the angle of intelligence man committing suicide. I think we would have gone there. But you'll realize that even the choice of this photo, this is the thumbnail of the story. The choice of this photo, this is a design photo, ameka hiyo picha yake kidogo then. So if you look at this photo, you might even think that someone is profiling the business and not even the person, or is profiling Tom Adala as a business person. And that technically or tactically is a strategy to suppress the story. I tend to see that to some extent the media suppressed the story. Let me give you an example. I wanted to imagine a situation where we've lost a cabinet member. Not a cabinet, no, he's not in the rank of a cabinet. Let me just go to, okay, let's just pick Ogola. Then all of a sudden, instead of speaking about Ogola's death in his capacity as the CDF, then we are bringing in those conjectures of his businesses and family issues. I have some two reservations with it, and let me explain. I was just reading what the national team reported. This is what the national team reported about his death. I just want to read for you here so that you realize what exactly. Yes. Adala is said to have shot himself dead inside his residence in Kirichwa Villas in Kilimani Estate. His nephew, Francis Oduor, who lived with him, informed the police that he last saw his uncle on June 3rd, around 10 p.m., as he went to sleep in his room upstairs. He knew Siko. His nephew Adala also retired to bed in his room upstairs. On Tuesday, he woke up to do his morning chores. Shortly thereafter, the house help, Mrs. Caroline Amanda, arrived and prepared breakfast for them. Remember, they had gone to sleep, that was at night. But Adala was nowhere to be seen, those rooms upstairs. Mr. Oduor climbed upstairs to check on him in his room, but he was not there. Okay, that is in the room. he asked their watchman Morris, who was at the gate, if Adala had gone outside. But the watchman said he had not, according to the police report. So, after checking the compound, Mr. Oduor found Adala lying dead inside the servant quarters. It was then that senior police officers were alerted and they visited the scene. So look at the whole situation. You know, that is not said. They left at night, went to his room. The nephew also went to sleep. The next morning, the nephew is looking for him so that they take breakfast. He's not there. Then he's found in the servants' quarters. Okay? Then listen to it. The police recovered a G19 pistol serial that with blood. In his bedroom, another spare magazine was recovered loaded with 13 rounds and a suicide note written on a black notebook placed on the bed, according to the police report. And remember, whatever was written in that black book is no one should be blamed on his death. So I've just been wondering, I think the way we reported this story, the way the media reported this story was a letdown. It needed to be profiled. The story needed to be profiled. In fact, we just answered the 5 W's. Where, what, who, whose. We just reported, but we left the H. How? We left the H. For example, I thought there would be questioning on how did he go to sleep in his room. The next morning they're looking for him, they cannot find him. Then they find him in the servant's quarter. Question, who uses that servant's quarter? Where was he that day? How did he find his way there? And how did someone commit suicide in servant's quarter and then the suicide note is in the bedroom? What is the correlation? I think if you want to kill yourself, I'm just imagining, casual thinking that he will just right then shoot himself immediately. So this thing, the mystery surrounding his death is something that I think the media have not done a good job. The circumstance around it is very questionable, and the way they've covered, and I saw, in a story, the foot of that story is, there are details they're putting it. They're saying, he said he should not be blamed. Then there is another story of his colleagues are saying he was depressed. Then the same depressed story, they are justifying the depression by saying, you know what, he had family issues. Guys, NIS. I looked at, no, I think our media let us down. Our media really let us down. We said a story that, to me, profiling the whole thing, they failed to ask the tough questions. So that is the story the gentleman is alluding to there. But something also interesting happened. And looking at the other things, over the weekend on Saturday, President Ruto arrived in the country, and there was a virtual meeting of East African presidents to crack something on the DR Congo issue. And so this is also another thing that happened over the weekend. So immediately, actually Ruto did not attend the meeting. I think he arrived and I think it was late, but it was represented by Musalia Mudavadi. However, Tshisekedi, the DR Congo president, logged out of the meeting. It was not part of the meeting. I think I analyzed it here. So there been a question of, he logged out, and that was supposed to look at the issue of peace, and of course the diplomatic reporters were talking about a speech that Ruto made in an interview that Ruto had in Rwanda as part of the scuffle and why he walked out. But you will also remember that in DR Congo there was a coup, an attempted coup. And those coup plotters were arrested, with information going around that some of those who were arrested at one point had dual citizenship of US and DR Congo, and were even trained in the US military. So that was smearing the name, putting the name of the US in the radar, and in a very negative manner. A very negative manner. So that question was emerging, and as I said, that if they want to arrest someone, they must not go to arrest maybe DR Congo. That person could be trapped in Kenya, and then from there, they find we can be arrested, maybe make a visit, or be given some, then given residence or asylum here, then from there he's handed over. That has always happened, even in the past. But someone said we drew the line when we came to Felician Kabuga? Felicia Kabuga, Felicia Kabuga. Oh, thank you, my director, for that. So that's what we are saying. We drew the line on Kabuga. Oh, the first name is really giving me troubles. So, could it still be linked to that there is high profile, maybe investigation around it, and they're trying to put their hands on deck? Secondly, and this is a very interesting one, we had, before President Ruto flew to US, the list of cabinet members that were to fly with the president was trimmed. And so many people were denied visas. So many politicians were denied visas in this country. Amongst the grounds on why they were denied visas, and I think if we take what we can take what Nani said, we can take what Kimani Njeri said. Kimani Njeri said that Murkomen was removed from the plane, was going to the US. And since he made that statement, Murkomen have never come out to deny or react to it. So you can take his side, because Murkomen has a right of replying. And if he believes that he was lying, he would have told us. But then we know that Murkomen is one of the cabinet members who did not go to US. And bit of it, FBI also investigates corruption. The US have a big stake in the country in terms of the deals they signed with the president, business, the dual, the deal from Mombasa to Nairobi, all these are here. So one critical point I might be looking at here is the fact that they're also hands-on corruption. They could be following high-profile corruption in the country, and it could be the deals within around here, or could also be bordering money laundering. I've always said, people, as much as people are doing business, people are getting salary, but the amount of money politicians are giving in these events are very worrying. Until you question, someone was saying, are we printing money, then spending, or really where are we getting money? And I'm tempted to think about what Nani told us, who was he? About what Matiang'i told us, that we might end up with a pool of criminals, wash guys left, right, and center. So these are just mere speculations of the mission on it, and a bit of some leads. I know there are also some high-profile arrests that were done. You have some 2 Somali nationals, I think there was a weekend, could be last week, there was also around that. So we cannot open up, but we may not be able to find out, but we were just looking at the leads available and what the people are saying online. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. From our viewers in the US, well, you stand better to tell us what could be their jurisdiction here and what could be their mission. So thank you. And I also want to finish by asking you, if you want to move something from one place to the other, whether within Nairobi, you're locating your office or your house items, you are locating where you stay residents, so want to move your chairs and your things to another place, you need a company you can rely on. And that's why I propose to you and I recommend to you Topmark Movers. Topmark Movers are the best company in Kenya currently to help you move from one place to the other. Be it you want to move it from town to upcountry, you need a reliable company that will guarantee you safety. So consider working with Topmark so that you will ensure that your things are safe. Thank you very much. And also, I've received 2 requests. I know there is a lot of logistics involved to receive the clothing. I've not picked them. There's one from Denderu, and there is also one from around Thika Road. So we will plan, and probably the event that we had scheduled to to give these clothes this week. We'll push it to over the weekend so that part of this week we just collect it. And also, thank you very much for your support. Many who are asking, I just want to leave you a snippet of the event we did last time of supporting the women in Mathare. So, as I promised you guys that we will be supporting these families. I'm already at Mukuru Kwayaba, factual and southern the name. And this is the nearest primary school around this place because we could not go for field and because of promotion. When we go there, then maybe things will turn very chaotic. So these are the families. Already 9 they are waiting for Mzegu's and Mzee. Yeah, so thank you. This is the families we want to support. And I also want to urge this that it doesn't end here. The need is still big. There are also still infants, and you can still get to me. I will still be able to link you up with 1 or 2 families. But even if you want to support more, yeah, but we did it also to do our part as the board, and I just want to thank you for having done this. Asante sana, mbarikiwe. Okay. Wengine watatu hata mpige tu. Kuja tu. Mama tu hapo. Mama hapo.
Okay, habari zenu tena. Jinsi nilisema mimi naitwa Ndege, mkaaji wa Landimame, Kayaba, Mukuru. Kwanza ninachukua hii fursa kusema asante sana kwa wenye wamekuja kutusaidia. Kwa hivi sasa nyumba tulishapata, ni ile hela ya kulipa hiyo nyumba ndio hatukuwa nayo. Lakini kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu, Mungu ametenda. Pesa ndio hizi tumepata na tunaenda kulipa hizo nyumba zetu. Hatutalala tena kwa baridi. Naye muendelee na kusaidia watu wengine, isiwe ni sisi peke yetu, sababu watu wameathirika pale wengi bado wanalala kwa hiyo kiwanja mahali tulikuwa tunalala. Tunashukuru sana, Mungu awabariki.
Before tuende kwa wengine, I want to add one here. There are people and guys, there are people that normally they are not sensing in the picture. Anne is one person that has been coordinating this. She's behind this, and I just want us to one word and thank you very much. Asante sana for having been behind this, for working in the community. You are a warrior, and I know that you are amongst people that normally are not celebrated, but we thank God that even we also need to celebrate Anne because Anne is also another person.
Thank you. I am Anne Kanini, a community representative in Mukuru location. Kazi yangu ni kusaidia watu wale ambao wanapata shida tofauti, hasa katika huu mkasa wa floods. Katika ile hali I was able to identify watu ambao wamekosa makazi, na ninashukuru the board team for coming through kuweza kusaidia hizi jamaa. Ukiangalia hapa George ni mzee ambaye ni mzee sana, na kuna hapa Dani ni mzee sana. Wakikaa nje kwangu ilikuwa inaumiza moyo kwa sababu nyumba yangu pia ni ndogo, haiwezi watosha. And for the people who have come through to support these people, may God bless you for doing something which is good, ambayo itazuia wasipate magonjwa, kukaa kwa baridi kunaleta magonjwa, na hata ile insecurity, they can be harmed. Kwa hivyo, God bless you and continue doing the good work. Personally, mimi nimejitolea kuwasaidia watu katika hili eneo la Mukuru kwa Tanyayo. Asanteni kwa kutushika mkono.
And I want us to pray, but before prayer, I just want to put a point to you guys. this need is still there, and I was just talking with the aunt behind the scene. She was telling me that quite a number that are still here. So even in your own individual capacity, I closed the fundraiser yesterday and I finished this program here, but it's not ending because the solution is not coming to an end. There are still other people.
Kasema asante, kasema asante, kasema asante, ewe Mungu wangu. Baba, katika jina la Yesu Kristo tunasema ni asante kwa sababu ya wema wako na fadhili zako ambazo hudumu milele na milele. Hakika Bwana, katika hili janga umetuletea watu ambao ni roho safi, ambao wamesaidia Baba hawa watu wetu ambao kuanzia hii dakika wanaenda kulipa nyumba na kupata hata kupumzika katika nyumba zao. Uinuliwe na uimidiwe. Kwa wale wote waliochanga, Bwana wa majeshi, tutamka neno la baraka, ukawabariki maradufu katika jina la Yesu Kristo mwana wa Mungu. Ni kwa ajili ya Kelvin, ni kwa ajili ya Brian na timu yao yote Baba, ukapate na kuwabariki. Asante Baba, ni kwa ajili ya hii timu wanapotoka hapa na kuanza maisha mapya katika maeneo mapya. Mungu utaweza kuwalinda na kuwaongoza. Asante ni kwa ajili yangu Baba, ninapoenda kufanya hii kazi nzuri katika hii community, neema yako ikanitoshe. Tunakushukuru kwa ajili ya mwalimu Simon, amekuwa ni baraka kwa wenyeji wa mtaa Bwana wa majeshi, naye ukambariki katika kiwango kingine, ukafungua milango ya baraka kwa ajili yake. Tunapoachana ukatulinde, inuliwe mfalme, na ni katika jina la Yesu tunaomba na kuamini. Amen.